Now that I'm officially 70 pounds down, and I have taken 77 shots of Zepbound, and I have been on my weight loss journey for 84 weeks. I figured I would go into the numbers and talk about what dosages I've taken, how long I was on each one, how many pounds did I lose under each dosage, and what was my average weight loss. I'll also talk about like what precipitated me going up to the next dosage, where I'm at now, and what I expect in the future. So let's get right into it. My name is Amy, and I'm on a weight loss journey to lose 180 pounds. Well, I'm officially 70 pounds down, so 110 more to go. And I'm definitely a numbers person, and I was so excited to put all of this together. So I've taken 77 shots out of my 84 weeks of this weight loss journey. I did start the official first 7 weeks without the medication, and then I finally got my first shot, and I took that on February 15th of 2025. Now, I did originally start on mochi, so some of the kind of dosages that I'm going to say are what I was actually putting into the syringe that I was taking. It doesn't mean that the medication was any less than the medication you might have been taking if you were using a quick pen, a single use pen, or a single use vial and getting the name branded medication. It's just with the compounding pharmacies, sometimes things are a little bit off. Okay, so we're going to start with the first 7 weeks. I was not on any weight loss medication, and over that time, I did end up losing 8 pounds. But honestly, I actually lost more than that, but had started gaining it back. And then I started and took 2.2 milligrams from Mochi, and that lasted 4 weeks. I actually gained a pound, people. Now, I did go on vacation. I went on the Icon of the Seas in February of 2025. Had a fabulous time on that trip, but I just could not make any headway with my weight. I ended up being a negative zero point 0.3 average for the 4 weeks. I was on 2.2. Now, I ended up titrating up after the 4 weeks from the 2.2 to 4.4 milligrams. And I think this is Mochi's kind of standard policy when they first start people out. Now, if the medication had been controlling my appetite, I was still feeling full after eating, and I was actually losing weight, I would have stayed on the 2.2 milligram. But as you can see, the first 4 weeks, it did nothing for me. So I just went ahead, and when it was time to reorder, I went ahead and ordered the higher dosage. So I did 4.4 milligrams for 4 weeks, and I lost 7 pounds, which was pretty phenomenal. I lost an average of 1.8 pounds for those 4 weeks. Now, I did end up going up to the next dose because I still wasn't getting a tremendous amount of food noise control, and I still was struggling a little bit with hunger and satiety. So I went up to their 6.6 milligrams, but I ended up only getting 1 week in, and I didn't lose any weight that week. So I kind of had an average of zero average weight loss for the 6.6 milligrams. And that was because in that time I had seen an endocrinologist, and she asked me to try the name brand Zepbound if I could afford it. And I could, I did have the savings to pay for it. It is extremely painful. I didn't want to pay for it, but she encouraged me to try the name brand. So I went up to 7.5. Now, I did 7.5 for quite a bit of time, and then I went up to 10 and then came back down to 7.5, and I'll explain why in just a moment. But overall, I did 7.5 for 23 weeks, and I lost 22 pounds, which is pretty fabulous. That comes in right around a pound average per week. But I was really struggling when I decided to switch off from 7.5 to 10. I was having trouble with food noise and inappropriate hunger. I went up to 10, but 10 was actually too strong for me at that time. It was really slowing my gut mobility down, and it was just making my stomach hurt. So my doctor advised me to go down to 7.5 for a little bit and then work my way back up to 10, which is what I did. Now, I'm also in between all of this, I've been trying to lose weight for my gallbladder. So I was having issues with my gallbladder, but it was completely unrelated to the medication. So I think part of the reason why I had to go back down to 7.5 was because of my gallbladder. Now, when I went back up to 10, overall for 10, I stayed on that for 27 weeks and I lost 22 pounds. So I noticed at the very end of 10 that my weight really started struggling. I kind of stalled. I was starting to get a little bit of food noise. I was getting oh, I'm going to go stand in the kitchen and try and find whatever I can to put in my mouth. I was getting the munchies. I was not satisfied after eating. And I was just really getting inappropriate hunger at inappropriate times, like 4 o'clock in the morning, wanting me to get up out of bed and eat. So I decided that I needed to titrate up. Now, overall for 10, I ended up losing 0.8 pounds average on that medication. Now, for 12.5, this is kind of a convoluted story. So I started 12.5 actually using compounded medication. I was really desperately trying to save money, and a content creator was giving out a code for a pharmacy that I hadn't really heard of, but they promised that they were using it and everything was working really great for them. Well, I got my medication. I got 3 vials of 12.5 because I was titrating up, and 2 of the vials actually expired before I could even get to use them. So I was a bit put out about that. So I did end up using 3 dosages of the 12.5 in the vial, but then my doctor ended up prescribing me 12.5 milligrams in the quick pen. So I did take 2 quick pens, which would be 8 dosages total of 12.5. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the quick pen. I think it's fine, but I kind of struggle a little bit with pushing the plunger down. It's not that it's difficult. I just don't like how stiff it is. And I don't know, it just doesn't have the same feel as just doing a regular syringe. And because I'd been doing that for so long, I actually preferred that over the quick pen. Now, overall, on 12.5 milligrams, I was taking that for 11 weeks and I lost 4 pounds. So that was my worst dosage out of all of them. It was 0.4 pounds average that I lost for 11 weeks. And I'm not blaming that on the compounded medication. I'm kind of blaming that on I was getting to the end of 10 and things were going a little haywire. I had stalled for quite a while. And then when I was getting into the 12, like I was just barely losing weight, even though like I was eating in a calorie deficit. I was trying to get movement in, but I had a whole lot of events in between that just throw off my whole body. My body is so super sensitive that it really takes a lot for me to lose weight. So I finally decided after having just some crazy weeks and really getting disheartened with the scale, I decided that I needed to go up to 15. So I've been taking 15 for 8 weeks now, and I've lost 8 pounds. Now, it hasn't been like 1 pound every single week. It's been like 2 pounds, then 1 pound, then 0 pounds, then 2 pounds. So it's kind of like all over the place, but I'm averaging 1 pound a week on the 15 milligrams. So fingers crossed that that keeps going. So overall, that was 85 weeks, 70 pounds with an average of 0.8 pounds per week. Now, would I love it to be a pound and a half? I really have my heart set on a pound and a half. I actually eat in a calorie deficit every single week to hit a pound and a half loss or at least a pound and a quarter. And it just doesn't seem that happens. But, that's just the story of my life when it comes to living with the disease of obesity. My weight is not always in my control. Now, I could try and get out there and run a marathon. I could try and get out there and do 10,000 steps a day. I can get out there and maybe try and eat 1,000 calories a day, but I'm not convinced that any of that is going to help. I think right now the medication is doing its best to allow my body to burn fat. But unfortunately, the medication gets to a point where you kind of get to a low enough body weight that it says, okay, the body's done burning fat and you're going to stay where you are. So in the future, it's probably going to be possible that I'm going to need additional medications on top of the tirzepatide, or maybe I'll need to switch to one of the new fangled medications that's coming out. There's so many great medications out there that are options. I just have to be patient, which honestly is really the hardest thing of this weight loss journey because I am 70 pounds down, 110 to go, which at 0.8 is going to take me at least 2 years to lose the rest of the weight. But you know what? I'm really fingers crossed hoping that I'm going to get down to under 200 pounds by the end of January of 2026. I really have my heart set on that. It's a big goal that I'm trying to reach. Right now, I'm 234 pounds. So 35 pounds is really not out of the realm of possibility, but considering it has taken me 84 weeks to lose 70 pounds, ooh, that could be a big stretch goal. But I think as long as 15 milligrams keeps working, or if it slows down, that I immediately get to my doctor and have a conversation and see what else they can give me. Now, I will be starting Wellbutrin on September 1st after I have my gallbladder surgery. And now I've had a prescription for that for quite a while, and my doctor was really hoping that that would help treat some of my kind of anxiety that I get, and also help with major depressive disorder, and also hopefully help with appetite control. So, fingers crossed that adding that medication will give me the extra boost that I need to keep everything in control. But I'm really hoping that tirzepatide does its job and really sets my set point low enough that I can lose the weight that I need to lose. So, thank you for stopping in today and going over all the numbers. You know, I love numbers, love lots of information. And if you love live streams and love to chat with people on a weight loss journey, make sure you stop into my live stream Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I usually have about 100 other people on there, all chatting about their weight loss journeys. It's a great way to get support if you need some help in this weight loss journey. So, thank you so much. Have a fabulous day, and I hope to see you again soon.
1 scale and a suitcase to pack. Zepbound in hand, there's no looking back. Cruising through this journey, non-scale victories divine. But can Amy lose the weight without losing her mind?